Report, Brown Basketball Edition. I'm here with assistant coach TJ Sorrentine. Appreciate you coming on. We're getting to that point where I'm sure you guys can kind of see it. You guys had the scrimmage. We're 3 weeks away. I want to talk first just kind of about your international trip to France. Just how much did that benefit you guys on and off the court to have that experience in the summer?
Yeah, great experience. Very fortunate. Thankful to our supporters who made that trip happen. That's something we're able to do. You come to a place like Brown, and we've done it. I'm fortunate. That was my fourth trip, and all made happen by our great alumni, and that's a special thing about this place. Being able to do things like that, and the experience for our players was unbelievable. Just the bonding, that's the biggest thing. They get to spend time, away from campus, an extended amount of time. So that was really cool to see, and that's always my favorite part is just watching them interact in a different environment. Which is really cool.
Absolutely. And what for you guys, like, from obviously you guys have, like I said, we're on the brink of the season starting, but not just, that considering that the off season, that trip, those games, and obviously the practices leading up to where we are now. What has been the focus for you guys? You guys are a deep team. A lot of guys returning. You guys were on the cusp, just missed, being in the Ivy tournament, that top four. What has been the focus for you guys to get you guys to that next step to be in that position at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think we're we get a jump with the trip just to get some practice in and see what pieces fit. Losing Paxton Wojcik and Perry Cowan, two veteran guys that were great for us. Who's going to fill those spots and who's going to step up. I mean, that's my biggest thing every year coming into a new year is like who's going to make that jump. But talk about Paxton specifically. I'm not sure a lot of people had him pegged to make the jump he made. He did. He put the work in. He put the time in. We've got a lot of guys we feel that have put a lot of time and work in. So who's going to step up and make that jump? That's a big deal. And just competing. Coach says it every day. Nothing's guaranteed. So we compete. We got a bunch of competitors, and competing every day, earning your time, and that's the biggest thing we focused on.
Absolutely. And, I'll start with, I'm not going to go down the whole roster, but obviously, starting with, you look at a guy like Tino Lilly, kind of a breakout year. I mean, he obviously had a great freshman year, but obviously last year kept that momentum. For a guy like that, obviously, who can put the ball in the hoop almost at will, it seems, at times. What has been that next step for him? And what have you liked, seeing him again this off season and leading up to this year?
Yeah, I think just and I've said this to a bunch of people, just I think he's got so much more in him that people haven't seen. Like he's done great things, but he's got so much more in him. Untapping that like we call it aggression button, right? Like sometimes he's not as aggressive as we would like, hunting shots and getting downhill. And so just trying to turn that up a notch and really get him to buy into like being ultra aggressive. And that was great to have those practices leading up to France and play some games. And now these first, couple weeks of practice, just untapping that hasn't been seen yet by people, but we know is in there. So, that's been fun, just trying to get him to turn it up a notch.
Definitely. And you look at your front court, a guy, I know Owusu Anane, I know he had the opportunity to play, for Canada for the national team this summer. What have you liked about, again, his development? And again, you look at your front court, you guys have size, you have depth, something you need in the Ivy League. What has been the priority for you looking at your front court?
Yeah, for sure. Our depth is really good. Got the injuries, really hurt us down the stretch last year, but gave guys like Landon Lewis a chance to get some minutes as a freshman, meaningful minutes and meaningful games. And, we've got some, Nana being a junior and now, and Malachi and Durr being a senior, that's big, having some front court depth who guys who played a lot of minutes and been around the program for a long time. Specifically with Nana, as you mentioned him, he had shoulder surgery coming into last year, and he really didn't get a summer. So I think the biggest thing that I've noticed with him is he's in great shape. He's big, he's strong, he's put on 15 pounds, and he's he's running at a great clip. Like he's in great physical condition. So to me, that's the most important thing. I tell all our guys, and it's been a big focus for us. As a staff, we got to be in great shape. We got to be the best conditioned team, and that's going to propel us to where we need to go.
Definitely. And you had talked up front, obviously you did have some key departures. You look at someone like Paxson, going to, he's now will be playing at UNC, which I think, you had mentioned the steps he had taken within the program. Obviously, a testament to his hard work, but obviously to you guys as coaches in terms of your player development. With that void, is there a player or two that you're really looking and you see as someone who can fill that again? You can't replace someone, as is always, but just people that you think can step up into that role, a sizable role that he had last year.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not going to peg anybody because I think we have a bunch of guys that can do that. You look at Kalu Anya, who was a freshman last year, who was playing great until he got hurt. A guy like Felix Sloman, he plays great in our brown white scrimmage. A guy like Aaron Cooley is a junior who has played a lot of minutes, and he's got some experience. I think he's ready. Guy like Lindell Errold played great in our brown white scrimmage, and people have never even seen him. So again, those are just a couple guys, but you never know, and that's the beauty of college basketball. It's that famous quote. When there's going to come a time when Winter asks what you were doing all summer, and I think that's tangible to college basketball, that's the part I love about it.
Absolutely, and just a couple more. There's so much focus in college basketball. I've talked to a lot of coaches about this. Obviously with transfers, I think it's obviously a little different with the Ivy. But high schoolers sometimes, or not sometimes, like in the last couple of years, I don't want to say get the short end of the stick, but not as much focus. You guys brought in a big class. I believe it was 5 incoming freshmen. It's hard for freshmen to make an impact, year one, but you guys have had those impact freshmen over the last couple of years. What do you like about these the new guys and their learning curve this year?
Yeah, it's been a big learning curve for them. We've got, they obviously couldn't come on the European trip, which is an Ivy League rule, and hopefully that will change at some point because they kind of missed that experience. And so they commit, our 11 guys that went on the trip and played were, have a little bit of a jump. And so it's hard, man. College basketball is so hard, that adjustment. There's so many things that you need to, just adjust to. And they're doing it. But it's, we have a veteran group, and, we're going to rely heavily on those veterans, and we're hoping, a couple of those freshmen can find their way and into the rotation. And if that happens, that's great, but it's hard, man. College basketball, it's hard. That adjustment is hard.
Yeah. And last question, I don't know how you can answer it. I don't even know how to phrase it necessarily, but is there, I know every year there's expectations. You guys have high expectations for yourself as a coaching staff, and obviously for your team, but does anything feel a little different in terms of this year? Again, the momentum you guys had at the end of last year, you guys were picked 4th. I know, preseason poll, which doesn't matter. You obviously got to play the games, but just about this group, about this core, what you guys have been building, how excited are you guys, and any specific goals you guys have talked about with
yeah, that's a great question. Like we try to live in the short term, right? Like we have our long-term goals, and that's to win an Ivy League championship and go to the NCAA tournament, right? But we put those in a bucket, right? And it's that bucket's far down the line, and we're trying to win every day. Like we got to be great today. Like we have practice here in a half hour. We need to try to win a championship today. And that's the biggest thing with this group we need to focus on, because we haven't done it. No one in this room has won a championship, so we don't know how to do it. So we gotta learn every day and take every day as a step to getting to where we want to go in the long term. But we're living in the short term right now, and that's our focus. And as if we continue to do that, and put the work in with our habits, it's going to pay off for us.
Definitely. Well, listen, Coach, I appreciate it. I didn't get to it, but I know, like I said, I'm looking forward to the season. You guys got some great non-conference matchups as well that I know we'll prepare for, which is always a very tough, Ivy League. But good luck, the rest of the way. Appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. Look forward to kind of doing this throughout the season.
Yeah, my man. I appreciate you as always, brother.